Still on this morning on ITV, this 13th day of January 2022. And on your program, our program, the program that encourages community of nations builder, nationalism, and youth, we are sailing into the second segment of this discourse this morning, looking at a critical looks at the Nigerian economy before and during Buhari. And with me this morning to take a look at this topic are two gentlemen. Alhaji Umar Bida is a political analyst. And to my immediate right, we have Comrade Adefolari Olamilekan, a political economist and development researcher. You are both welcome to our studio, and in the characteristic of this program, I say to you, Alhaji Umar Bida, nationalism and you.
It is my responsibility to build Nigeria.
Thank you very much. And Comrade Adefolari, nationalism and you.
It is my responsibility to build Nigeria and make it a better society.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
There have been so many contentions about the economy of Nigeria in the recent past. First of all, it was flagged off by Rotimi Amechi, who queried that the past administration did not leave enough wealth, enough resources, enough finances in the coffer for the incoming administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Then he was replied from abroad by one Omokri, Reno or Mokri. Then again, like that. And the brandishings of some figures during the interview with Mr. President, Chanel's interview with the President. So we are going to take a critical look at the economy and let us dissect it. Your opinion on the Nigeria economy before and now. Alhaji Umar Bida, let me start from you.
Thank you very much for having me. I am of the view, and we all were living witness. We forget easily in this country. It became very, very impossible for the federal government to pay salary as at that time. And it was very, very impossible for state government. A lot over 75% of states in Nigeria needed to be bailed out. When President Buhari came in, he doled out a lot of billions. Especially my state, for example, Kogi State, took 50 billion for salary overhead. You understand? Also, all over the country, we had this problem. Now that Mr. Buhari, when Buhari came into power, you can see all those, we recession, we had two recessions in this country. Mr. President Buhari came in, fought the recession, we came back, we met issue of pandemic, you understand? We were able to survive it. We had all these problems. But during Jonathan, we were unable to pay salary. That was the basic. That's the criteria you can say government failing. If a government cannot pay salary of its worker, we're borrowing money to pay salary. But today, that's still of the past. The government is paying salary, we are having a lot of projects. Government is involved.
But some people are saying that under that regime that the economy was not as biting as this, that they were enjoying themselves and things of that nature. Comrade.
I think in my own opinion, to getting answers to most of the challenges that we have in Nigeria pertaining to our economy, is we have to go back to colonial period, post-colonial period, military incursion into our politics, democracy coming back in 1999. There are stages, there are levels, there are issues that arise out of these various administration of government that we have had, from colonial to 1963 Republican Convention that we had our government, then to 1966, then we have coup and several of them. Before 1999, we have the Fourth Republic. What I'm trying to draw out is this: the kind of economic policy that was drawn on from that period to now has always had issues, especially knowing that Nigerian economic development is tied to the international global economic issues. So whatever happens outside there affects us internally. And because of that, in my own understanding, from that period to now, every successive government have issues either to pay salary or to carry out contract or to carry out development, in a sense that there's always the problem of tying the economy to just one source, petrodollar economy. And it was just recently that non-oil sector have now been used to generate funds. So in my understanding of the economy, it is because we have so much based our economy on just one source, and that's how affected us seriously. But recently, there's a change paradigm to diversify the economy.
When did it recently commenced from?
I think it commenced from 2015, when the present government, although the previous government also tried to do, but they were not having that political will to do it. But currently, since early this year, there's been a drive. That's why we see different law, finance law, and the rest of them the government put in place, so that we can drive our economy, not just from the petrodollar economy, but non-oil sector, productive sector, manufacturing sector can be able to drive the economy, so that government can have enough to fund the economy, to carry development progress, then we go forward from there.
But Nigerians are saying during those years that dollars were 197 to the dollars, naira to the dollars, and now it is over 500. Then another will say that inflation rate and the rest of it. Another will say, what do you call it? Unemployment rate, exactly. And the rest of it is percentage and that kind of a thing. What are your take?
I think in answering this question, we need to educate. This opportunity for educate Nigeria. How does the economy work? The economy works through productivity, and as I mentioned earlier, we are focused so much on crude oil exploration. Successive government have left behind areas to impact the economy through productive manufacturing. My chief here is from Kogi State. We should be asking, why is it that Jakarta is not working? All the rolling mail scattered all over the country, why are they not working? You talk about employment. These are the areas that we can generate employment for the youth. Manufacturing sector, production sector, paper mill are scattered in Jeba, in Kwara State. Why are they in absolute condition that they are not working? And in Nigerian case, for us to be able to bring down the issue of naira dollar, we have to produce more to export, because what we have is that we are importing more into our economy, which is expecting us to now bring, devalue our currency so that we can buy more dollar and have more dollar to do business. And that's why the naira dollar is having issue. But until we begin to engineer a way that we now have more production to export outside than importing, because the importation is what is killing the naira. Because once we are able to reduce that, and I understand the last week the CBN government was talking about that, Nigeria have to do deliberate effort to stop this huge importation, because that is what is affecting dollar, and that's what is affecting naira per se. And when people talk about in 2014, naira was 100 and something to dollar, that has to do with international pricing of commodity. It is transmitted to the economy of third world countries. Until we understand that perspective, and I believe that this particular platform that we are is supposed to educate Nigeria how the economy must work. And how the economy must work is that Nigeria must take it as a pride to understand and take into themselves that homegrown product must be accepted by them. The more we look into luxury products that are being imported, the more our economy dies.
Now, let us take a relative analysis of unemployment rate. How do we X-ray or arrive at denominating the unemployment rate? For example, before 2015, we were importing rice, about 95% of our rice consumption. And we only had, by statistic of National Bureau of Statistics, we only had about 3.5 million rice farmers in Nigeria before 2015. But by 2018, going to 2019, we had been able to establish about 12 to 12.5 million rice farmers. Isn't this a massive employment generation? Are this employment that result from rice processing alone, that is one segment of agriculture, are they tabulated into the, what do you call it, the statistics of the NBS regarding employment, or is a white collar job they are talking about? Please.
Basically a white collar job, that's what they are talking about. Employment, a lot of employment have been created by this government. And again, my major concern about this is that people don't key into, they are not willing to key into the program of government in terms of employment creation. In terms, people take loan, for instance, to go to farm. And they find it difficult to go to farm. They don't want to utilize this money. Government programs are focused on employment creation. But a lot of this program has already been well frustrated. Issue of security. You can see, like we discussed the last time, when you see farms and you see banditry activities on those farms, they drive a lot of people from farms. You understand? Nigeria is faced with a lot of problems on security. From the southeast, the only place now, I think, really, we didn't have those such problems was the south-south. But when you look at the southeast, we had problem of Biafra, IPOB. You understand? When you go to the northeast, of recent, we talk about Tucano on this program. But the people that sold us this aircraft are telling Nigeria how to use it. They say you cannot use it to bomb this, you cannot use it to bomb that. It is recently they agreed that we can use, when they declare the bandit as terrorists. You see, most of our agricultural produce are coming from north central, northeast. Most of our agricultural produce. And that is where these employments are being created. Well, when you look at importation of rice, importation of all these products, these are our goods. We consume so much. 90% of our food we were consuming, we're importing them. Now, the president says has to block this importation of this product. That means we must produce to be able to meet up the demand for this product. Now, if we are producing and then there's frustration on these areas of production, you will see that the supply will be lower than demand. Price actually definitely will come up. But I think we must be able to attack this issue of security, which the government is doing seriously now. You can see the Boko Haram. There's a definite silence in the northeast about Boko Haram because since the Tucano has started working, the aircraft, the military has already facing that. Now that they have been, the bandits have been named terrorists now, and the aircrafts are moving, the militaries are going there. In the next couple of months, we are going to see a drastic improvement in the issue of security in the northeast. And then when this improvement comes, you will see a situation where the farming activities, the production activities in terms of farming. First of all, we are looking at manufacturing. Let's even drop manufacturing first. Let's be able to produce what we can consume first. Food on our table, rice, butter, milk. These are issues we are even talking. We have not even moved from that before we begin to look at industrial revolution. We have to, a country that cannot even feed itself has no food security. Food security is the major, because when somebody is hungry, he can easily pick up arms against the state.
You are not speaking like the president himself. When they ask him and say and ruled out all those figures of inflation and employment, he said, we have given you access to farm.
Yes.
And we say people should return to land.
Yes.
And the rest of it. And some people have your take on this.
I think what from my perspective on that particular statement of the president, which I also have analyzed on sister station, is that we Nigerians going to farm, we accept it, very fantastic. But there's a linkage between agricultural product and manufacturing product. We need to link them together. And when we talk about
create added
value chain, because major challenge that we are having, just like you rightly pointed, your first question was that why is it that there is a problem with the naira dollar? Why is it that naira is falling? In 2014, 2013, they say naira to dollar is 100 and something. It's because we are still importing some of the things that we can produce here, and that's what is killing the economy gradually. But on the president's side, we agree we must go to farm, but let us link our farming production, agriculture product to manufacturing, so that those complementary things that we normally import, we can now manufacturing them here at home, that will give value to the people and also create additional employment. Just like he said, there is employment in the agricultural sector, people going to farm. Let us now create other employment chain through manufacturing sector, through agricultural product, that we can now go forward from that. Then again, on the issue of this employment issue, I really love what NBC is doing, National Bureau of Statistics is doing, but they need to look at what he has already pointed out. There are, employment generated at the agri level also, which is mostly considered an informal sector. So what are the informal sector employment generation figures that we need? We need them to have so that we can plan very, because statistics is for us to plan and plan brilliantly. That's what the essence of NBS report that we normally receive. Then on this show again, on this farming thing that we normally talk about, he mentioned of intervention. CBN had 39 different interventions that was thrown into the system between 2020 to 2021. They have made impact, they have made result. But the issue is that, as you rightly pointed out earlier, said people don't participate. And it is true, because people see that when they want to apply for government...
You think people don't participate, or there is no sensitization enough that can open the people up and make them courageous to participate?
Even right now, CBN is running a radio program on those sensitization, on those programs. But the issue is that this mentality that if no man, that's how they can get it. So people relax.
And government money is free.
Free. You know, like right now, you mentioned of right farmers. Do you know that right now, CBN is thinking of how to recover some of the billions they released to the Right Farmer Association to Nigeria since 2016. They are trying to recover it. So our concern here as a platform that promotes nationalism is that people should see opportunity to get involved in government programs. But government also look at it at a way that there must be effective communication. Like this program that you are running, which National Orientation can partner with you on this program, that it can be run on major national television, so that people can be educated and know how to engage with the government and also get results from the government and give the government feedback on what is happening on the economy.
I remembered in some years ago when Dr. Doyin Okupe was the spokesperson of the president that Buhari took over from, and some group of journalists approached him and they asked him, why are you people importing locomotive train instead of the modern train and the rest of it? And he said, Nigeria don't have the money to do that. Whereas now we are having modern train, modern railway, and the rest of it. And that was at the time when the crude oil price was selling at $130, $142 per barrel, and now that it is even less than 70, sometimes oscillates to 20, and then go back to 80, and the rest of it. We are witnessing massive rail connectivity, and they are modernized type and that kind of a thing. What have changed? Yes.
Anyway, you can't give what you don't have. That is to his thinking, his innovation. Nigeria, first of all, you have to look at what is the importance of what you want to invest in. How does it translate, assist your economy? We have been putting so much money on our roads, every year in, year out. Every year, before maybe you can finish for one portion of the road to the other one is already finished. Because of what? The kind of loads, the kind of traffic, the kind of pressure we put on these roads is so high. So billions, all these billions we are putting on this road is being wasted. So with the railway system, you can see that the pressure will be reduced from the road. And that is what it is Mr. President. It's not something you can achieve within 2 years. The president want to tie the whole country together. They want to move from Maiduguri to Port Harcourt, from Lagos to Kano. You can see a lot of those traffic. The time they finish, it's not something that within 5 years, 6 years, or 8 years of this administration that you can achieve all. 10 years, 20 years, you are going to have a future, a very great future. By the time we finish all this plan, the future approach, the president, because when you say a leader is not somebody who thinks about the next election. Mr. President is thinking about the next generation, and that is what is happening now. He's thinking about projects that our children will inherit, and that we are talking about this railway system. You will see from Abuja to Kano by the end of next year. We can move from Abuja to Kano, and that will impact on Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina. You will see a lot of traffic. You can see it's a terminus we have in the Zaria before. It's going to come back. Ibadan railway is going to come back. What you have in Kwara then, the big railway terminal in Kwara, is going to come back. The future of Nigeria is going to be...
And even the terminals are looking like an airport.
Yes. It's not even those old terminals. It's going to be... So Nigeria is having a very great future. It's just that we don't believe. We should believe in this country. We should believe in our leaders. We should begin to look at. We should begin to make sacrifice. These are things that we are not doing. We are thinking that it's going to be luxury. Look at the importation we are doing on crude, on the petrol. If we begin to pay on this subsidy, Nigeria cannot move anywhere. About 92% of this money, let's look at about trillions that we are putting on subsidy. Let's look at this loan we are taking. We are going to pay back. Those things we are bringing, that investment loan, It's not loans that we are doing for consumption. So we are seeing this president is a president that we can trust. And unfortunately, by next year, the president will leave. We must have a leader that will come and build on this foundation. This foundation is a very strong foundation that we will help.
As a developmental researcher, Adefolari, the railway connectivity and the Nigerian economy, how will you situate it?
I think, you know, globally, railway is respected as one of the fast means of logistics, whereby you take long hours to transport huge resources, huge load, huge vehicular movement that can pull crowd and pull passengers. And in Nigerian case, you know, it was something that over the years, as I earlier pointed out, from colonial era, you know how colonial master used railway to transport resources from Kano to Lagos to Port Harcourt. And now it's an opportunity for Nigeria to use it to now impact the economy internally and externally, because there's a railway that's going to Niger, there's a railway that maybe even plan to go to Cameroon and the rest of them. And it's an opportunity for Nigeria to now see the way of using railway to increase transmission and transfer of goods and services from interior part of the country to city centers and the rest, and to the port and to the airport. As you rightly pointed out, the railway terminals are looking like airport. It's an opportunity for passengers that want, like the one they did during the Christmas, New Year period, that they give free train ride for people, people enjoying themselves. It's an opportunity for people to participate in it, that in the sense that Nigerians can now travel with ease, not necessarily putting too much excess on the road aspect, whereby we can now have railway as one of the major transport and logistic means for Nigeria. And it's a boost to economy. Government can now raise more revenue from that. As I pointed out earlier, government are now paying attention on non-oil sector revenue generation. Railway can also give enough money to the government. Apart from paying the loans they collected to build it, they can also get some to impact into the economy as used as infrastructure development for future use. And that is the best way for economy. If you go to China, one of the leading logistic means is rail. Either speed rail or whatever rail, they use it. And it's very fast and very economical.
Now, let us quickly make a comparison. Like you alluded to in the first commentary, you said President Muhammadu Buhari inherited a country that about 29 states could not pay salaries. And we were borrowing to pay salary. That much Dr. Okonjo-Iweala alluded to, and the rest of it. Right now under Buhari, there is massive investment on social investment program that is even giving out free money to some people, the poorest among the poor, and that kind of a thing, in billions. And yet, there is no cry of unpaid salary, there is no cry of unpaid pensions and things of that nature. Even the pensions of the Biafran service people and the rest of it were said to have been cleared and that kind of a thing. What has happened differently? Yet the crude oil sales has dropped drastically. Why is it that the government continue to, comparative analysis, continue to pay their bills despite all the challenges which include COVID-19 pandemic that is ravaging the world? Yes, you.
Okay, and I think we need to look at it from the perspective, what's the constitutional responsibility of the government? The welfare of the people is the number one priority. And I give it to the Buhari government in the sense that they have been able to see that, if you remember 2013, 2010, 11, 12, 13, that was the period of huge challenge of government not being able to pay salaries and pension. And that was also the period of huge industrial strike in Nigeria. No state going through the week, no state in Nigeria during that period that you won't hear strike here and there. But right now it has been reduced. I give it to the Buhari government. But going further and doing more is the next thing. In the sense that as much as this salary that we are paying, we should also put transparent accountability in place, that as we are paying to the right people, we are not paying to ghost. Because I remember, it's very good. I remember why they introduced IPPIS was to fit out ghost. So, and there are still issues with the IPPIS, especially with ASU and non-academic staff of university. But we must commend the government that they should stick to this kind of transparency and accountability way, so that they can sustain the economy and put more money into infrastructure development and reduce wastage in governance. And that is the way I see it.
I come back to you on that with that same question.
Anyway, my basic issue here is,
what has the government done differently that is enabling them despite that the crude oil sales, which was our mainstay of our economy before, right now, you also knew that the crude oil fell at a time during the pandemic to about as low as $10 per barrel and the rest of it. And the government continued to pay the bill. Why is it that the government is able to pay bill irrespective of all of these challenges?
Is a fight against corruption. Government has been able to minimize corruption. I'm not saying 100% off.
Many people still believe that the corruption are still hydra-headed because money that, for example, there is a battle for, what do you call it, stamp duties money now, which they are saying is running into 20 trillion, but not being appropriately remitted to the government and the rest of it. Though Buhari has commissioned somebody, an expert, to say, recover this money, and even that person is being blocked from effective recovery of those money and things of that nature. Yes.
You see, corruption at the time was made official in the previous administration, but people are doing it under the table. We know there's no way you can stop it. Even in America, all over the world, they cannot stop corruption completely. But most especially that it has been a culture before, deeply rooted in our fabric. So it takes a lot. It takes our conviction. The president has been doing it, and we need the judiciary to support this initiative of fighting corruption, this effort of fighting corruption. There must be prosecution. There must be people must be convicted. There must be convictions on this, and that is the aspect the judiciary should work seriously with government to ensure that people are discouraged from this. The aspect you are saying is that we are no longer paying ghost workers. Even if we are going to do that, is at some percentage. You can now see that the government will not be able to reduce the wage bill. And that is why they have enough money to be able to pay for these social services, social responsibility, like he rightly pointed out. If we are not being able to pay salary, you cannot even be able to dash money. So, and it's what? Because of the savings. Government have been able to save money from those leakages. Government have been able to save money from those leakages, and that has been able to assist the government in doing its projects and all this. And we thank God Mr. President has also worked on the issue of what do you call it? These capital projects. You understand? And he's doing them drastically. The budget is being monitored. You can see transparency in all the things we are doing. And that's with that, you'll be able to have savings, you'll be able to pay salary, you have enough to pay for the loans, interest on the loan. And we're doing so much because of the pressure of this president and the APC government.
But the economy of Nigeria is biting on individuals much more than ever. How do you explain this, irrespective of all of this?
I think the issue of the challenge of the economy biting hard on the people is because of the issue of inflation. And that inflation is mostly caused because especially in food, that's where people complain mostly. And people are also be raising concern that, okay, if subsidies removed, it may increase the inflation, it may also increase the hardship on the people. But technically, from the economy point of view, majorly what is causing this hardship is because we don't have much in productive sector, in the sense that people are employed. Even people that some are employed, some people are called underemployed. They are not fully employed. They are not getting their wages, their salary on time. Then also the issue of development projects that will help entrepreneurial skills, especially the issue of power. If major Nigerian cities have 24 hours power, Nigerians who are into entrepreneurship will have skills and be able to do one or two things to help themselves and be able to come out of the hardship we are talking about. Then again, the intervention that government is putting, I think government need to look in a way that intervention must go all round, in the sense that it mustn't just end in just local government secretariat alone. In the sense that maybe APC politicians, or APC flag bearers, APC affiliated members will not be the one collecting those interventions. They should make it in a way that Nigerians across board can enjoy this intervention, no matter where they are and no matter where they be. And the major thing is that for us to arrest this hardship in Nigeria is that we must look inward into productive sector. I keep saying it. The only thing that makes economic work is when the country is producing and is not importing much. But if we continue this kind of scenario that we import too much, it will affect our economy.
You have rightly pointed out that the trillions we are investing on fuel subsidies should come to an end so that we can move it into the economy, and even the World Bank and the rest of it are saying the same thing to the government. But there is a caveat that this will impose more hardship on the Nigerian people and things of that nature. But one important thing, for the past 6 years, going to 7 years of Buhari administration, we have not witnessed the hopeless queues on our petrol stations. Yes. We have not witnessed fuel scarcity, excruciating pains of fuel scarcities. And this 2021 going out, there seems to be a very rigorous attempt to bring back those queues, because petrol stations were not agreeing to sell to public. They shut down some of their taps and things of that nature and that kind of a thing. And yet some people will say Buhari has not achieved anything. Your take on this?
If you look at our import bill, between our export of crude and what we import, about 42 billion US dollar deficits. Nigeria is paying more than that. Means we're earning nothing from the crude.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So when we are getting money, communication. Well, when you look at communication, you look at most of these companies like MTN, for instance. The last time they're moving dollars from their profit, they are moving their profits out of this country. So those dollars, about $10 billion at the time. So when you do that, you are pulling the economy backward of the country, because as you put that dollars back into South Africa economy. So thank God the Nigerian company won the bid for the 5G recently.
Very well.
So that is going to. So and the issue of the petrol, the Dangote refinery. I think I don't know how much what is the rate of completion now, but I know that the fertilizer aspect is done. But if I'm going to advise this government, what you would do?
Please advise them.
Yes.
Because we are rounding up.
Yeah. Thank you. We must go and look at, I say this on this program, all the local government in Nigeria. We're going to put up dedicates for agriculture. Let's get from bottom down. Let nobody sit down in Abuja, Federal Minister of Agriculture, and assemble friends and friends of government and give them this incentive. Let us decentralize. Even if it's 1 billion, that's about 700 something billion.
So we can maximize productivity.
Productivity. If your local government can do rice, let them do rice. Bring a program on rice. 1 billion naira go to local government. We'll all run away from Abuja. We'll decentralize. So within one season, the people that can do cassava will bring 1 billion or 2 billion worth of cassava. The people that can do rice will bring 2 billion worth of rice. The people can do guinea corn. The people can do maize. The people can do yam. At that point, you will see there will be food sufficiency in Nigeria. Then we will go to silos and begin to store them. We will be able to look. I can assure you, rice and yam in my domain in Ida and the Ibaji local government. If you give them 1 billion, we can feed this country.
Very good. Coming back to you, the issue of our refineries. And you know, refineries, if we can get those 4 refineries to work along with Dangote refineries, that is taking a perennial time to come online. I don't know why it's taking so long and that kind of a thing. We will have multifaceted, fallback to the economy that can be beneficial to the people and that kind of a thing. Your advice to the government?
I think I've said it on several occasions on sister radio station, TV station, even in my column in National Dailies, that we need to revitalize our 4 refineries. We should take them away from that monument, museum kind of look that they are presently at, to a better position that it will take the government the opportunity to produce fuel for Nigeria. And NNPC have been trying. Now they are now a company, a limited liability, a company for Nigeria to buy share into. Now it's now opportunity for them to now see what they can do with refinery and bring them to lifeline. And the advice for them now is that not just NNPC alone, the labor unions, NLC, TUC, that normally agitate that they should not remove fuel subsidy, they should use it as an opportunity to now look at the 4 refineries and see how they can partner with NNPC to revitalize it, because these same engineering workers that are working in NNPC are the same members of NLC and TUC. They should now come together and see how they can revitalize that particular gigantic monument of Nigeria to make it work for us. Because if they don't look at that 4 refineries, if we cannot depend only on Dangote, because it can only produce about work on about 600,000 crude oil per day, but we need more than that, because we consume about 50 million liters of fuel. So Nigerian 4 refineries must come on stream online, and that is the best way to go.
Thank you very much. We can go on and on and on and on and on. It's been wonderful having both of you on this show today. Alhaji Umar Bida, you are very welcome. And our own brother, comrade Adefolani Olamileko, it's been wonderful having you on
Yes, before we close.
Yes, please.
I want to make a passionate appeal. Mr. President must
Mr.
President must put a concrete program for Ajaokuta to be revitalized. That's my concrete.
Thank you very much, because without that, we cannot lay claim to sustainable technological takeoff. It is a bedrock for our technological takeoff. That is how we draw the curtains on our discussion segment on nationalism and you this morning. Until next week, that we will be coming back to you on nationalism and you, we say remain focused. I remain your host, Ebenezer Oyetaki, and thank you for always keeping faith with us. Don't change the channel, because on ITV, we always have better programs coming for you throughout the day.